everyone. I hope you're doing well. If you don't feel well, hang in there. Watch this video. Maybe you will get few things out of my story that you can compare. You can make notes. You can find out what's going on with me so that you can figure out how this whole thing works with twin flames. We all have, every twin flame it has its own unique story, but dynamics are like sort of work on a certain, how to say, pattern that is basically you have to figure out, because it's the learning process, it's the journey. So if it's a journey, like a school, okay, so if you're it's like we're all in the same university, so like we're getting different credits and we are attending different classes because everybody's has its own major, but basically it's the same. The same rules apply for everyone, the basic same rules. So every story can find connection with another story, and that's my subject or my topic today, because we are all one. I keep saying that we are all one. First of all, we are one with our twin flame. We got separated at birth. Yes, separated at birth. It's like twins. The physical twins get separated at birth because they were in the same uterus, and they grew together. They were developing together, and they get separated at birth. No, I'm not talking about Siamese twins. That's another story. That's another sign of God that we are all one. And then it's in a physical form. Those are connected, but we are all one on a soul level. Basically, we everybody out there was talking about, for years I've been reading about that separation is an illusion, and now I get it. I'm talking about that now because I'm less and less seeing that separation. And when you live in separation, then you don't realize you live in illusion. So when someone says separation is illusion, you're like, what do you mean by that? So as more as you're approaching that oneness, then you're realizing what the illusion of separation is. Anyways, we are all one because we all come from one, and we all go back to one. And that's exactly what Islam is teaching when it says that Allah is one, when it says that we all come from one, we shall all return to the one. This is the major thing that Muslims say when someone passes away, when someone dies, right? When the body dies, because soul cannot die. Have you ever seen someone die? I have, and whether it's an animal or a human being, it doesn't matter. Dying is exactly the same. When you see animal dying, it's just like birth is exactly the same. When you see animal getting birth to a baby animal, or a woman giving birth, it's basically only the animals don't cry as much as women do. But I guess, okay. Well, maybe they do. Sometimes they do. I've helped a dog give birth to 4 puppies. I am veterinary nurse, so it looked like, just like a lady's labor. She was panting, and she was um, having labor pains, and she was not shy about it, right? She was crying like a woman cries during the birth. So we are born and we die, and if you've ever seen that, that is something not to be afraid of. If you've ever seen a loved one die, what you can see is the eyes lose this uh, sparkle, the light that we contain, that every eyes contain. It just suddenly is like it goes away. It just leaves the body. So the soul leaves the body. So but the person doesn't die. The body that person was inside dies, and then whether you believe in reincarnation or not, it doesn't matter. It's important that you have come into that body and you leave, and where do you go? You go back to that oneness, that one thing. before you experience leaving the body, before you die out of certain body that you're in, you can actually already, before you do that, you can experience oneness. That's the coolest thing about twin flames, because on this journey you can actually reach that far. You can by trying to reach your twin flame, you can actually reach that one, because that's where you came from. So anyway, so you were separated from your twin at birth, because they entered. Doesn't matter the time and distance. That doesn't matter. Like they were born at. My computer is doing some kind of upgrade. That's great. Yeah, they were born at the time, like maybe 10 years younger than you, or older, or maybe like in the case of my sacral chakra guy, just one day, like 15th of July and 14th of July is my birthday, so that's amazing. I mean, it could be the same day you were born, or completely different decade. It doesn't matter, because for God and for universe, for all that is, there's no time and space. It's another illusion that we have here in this plane in 3D, in what Muslims call dunya. Dunya is the dimensional world we live in, or the Bible refers to as worldly, or worldly, what they call worldly life, or life in the flesh. Okay, so anyways, in this plane we experience time and distance, but there's no time, and even scientists know that there's the time and distance is spreading. It's losing its, it's not condensed anymore. So yes, in different time zones, in different decade, different country you were born from your twin flame, but basically all it happened was one soul was split into, like an atom splitting, like a cell. When a baby is, everything happens in the same way, so that God can show us how these things work. It all comes from one, and splitting and splitting. It's like the cells. Anything in nature is created that way, so it splits. Same with the souls. Okay, so more and more I'm learning that we're all one. Sacral chakra guy, you can go through your chakras and say, this person, or these people in my life are connected to this chakra of mine. These people relate to this chakra, and this chakra, people that I work with may be related to your ambitions, which is your solar plexus, or people that you go to school with. Then you have heart chakra, people that are your friends, your relatives, someone who's really important to you. You can feel them in your heart chakra. People that are intellectual, or that you have certain psychic connection with, are in your third eye chakra. I mentioned that in the previous video, so I'm not going to go over that again. What I want to talk about today, because it's Friday and I'm recording this on Friday, I don't know if I'm going to post it tonight, tomorrow, or by the end of the weekend, is that I always tell you what's going on, what's new. And so I talked about sacral chakra guy last week, and how he told me on the phone, I do not know you, who are you? And then he hung up. And that was really, I mean, to break up with someone, fine, but it was beyond that. It was really weirdest thing I've ever heard. At the same time, I told you guys that before even that happened, I already felt and realized he was channeling my twin. So when like, what I suppose was like, he came back to his body, his own conscious returned. So he doesn't, yeah, he does know me, but in the way he said it, it was like, it wasn't me, so I didn't get to know you. It was your twin knows you like yourself. So it was your twin that was in this whole in this time that we spent together. He was trying to reach out to you through, my own, I'd say semi consciousness, like, because I'm sure the other person was present as well, but it depends how much of each soul is present, right? Depends of, like, you can't tell percentage spiritual world, so you cannot say in this percentage was my twin, and this. I felt these channels, channeling coming through the messages from my twin. It wasn't the whole time, it wasn't constant, but the other person was there too, right? And that's what I want to talk about today, because everybody is connecting, we are all connected. And law of attraction, really, what we talk about, who we mention, they show, people show up. You know, more and more as your chakras are balanced, more and more you're aware of that oneness, more that you know about the law of attraction, more you learn, more you study, and more you work on yourself, the more is going to be manifested. You will become manifester, which is nothing against Islam, because when we make a dua in Islam, when we pray to God, what we want is to manifest, to have things manifested from Allah. We say Allah will give to us. Yes, Allah will give to you in the form of people, in the form of material things, whatever you're asking for, health. You know, that's called manifesting in a new age terminology. So more you know, more you manifest, right? So I was talking to Sacral Chakra guy just before this, you know, when we went swimming, and he was being um, when he would be like that, like as I said, no filter, and saying things that other people would not tolerate from him. I was just laughing at that and just taking it lightly, and you know, with brightness, and I have my own light, so I didn't let that, you know, because he was trying to irritate both himself and me, and go and with no vibrate on a low vibration after the high, after the good, feeling good. So he was saying, like, you know, I don't understand how come some people don't make it, because he's fresh, new here, like less than a year in the United States. So it was like, how come people don't make it? How come? How can people end up being homeless? You know, how can they let that happen to them? And I was explaining, I was giving him example of people that I knew that were lawyers that lost everything. That just it took one one bad incident and one thing that happened in their life that turned everything, and they lost everything, and it's just now they're like live on social security and things like that. So nobody's guaranteed they'll have riches forever and stuff. And I told him, don't judge people but what, you know, what they have, but who they are. And so I gave him example of a homeless man, because he, at the moment he was talking about that, he said, "Oh, I know a Muslim guy who is a homeless. How could you let that happen to him? He's not a refugee. He's actually homeless." And I told him, "You cannot be, uh, you know, you're judging wrongly. You're new here, so you don't understand. It will take you years to learn how things work in this country. Sometimes it's just a bad luck. Little things happen, and you can lose everything." So when he said, "I know a Muslim man," I asked him what's his name, you know, maybe because I know one guy who is also Muslim and who's homeless. And he said, "I don't know." And I told him the name of my Muslim friend who is homeless, and he said, "No, that's not the same guy." And then he asked me, like, why do you, I told you guys that Sacral Chakra guy doesn't have much of filter. It's like an Asperger's syndrome that he has. So he was like a child, like, you know, childlike questions. He was like, "So what, you know, how do you know him? Is he young? Is he old? Is he," you know, he would show signs of jealousy in these conversations. Like when I mentioned a guy, a man, he would be like, "Does he like you? Who is he? What is, you know, what does he do?" So he was like, "Is he young? Does he like you?" And I said, "He is actually a very handsome man. Doesn't matter that he's homeless. He's handsome man. He's from Baghdad originally, and it's just he has his own, you know, life story. What happened to him?" But I said, he's a good friend of mine. He's very um, decent and has a man with dignity, and we've helped him, and he actually has apartment now. We helped him with the housing and all that, so he's doing great now. And when he said, "Yeah, but you know that he's a loser," and I said, "No, actually, you never." Besides the first time when we, you know, came in like close proximity together, I will explain that now. I said, you went to San Francisco, you didn't remember to bring me a gift or something." And this man, when he was homeless, when he had nothing, he found a rock. He found a pretty rock. And he was a friend of mine. He wasn't hitting on me or anything. He considers me a child. He's older. And he said, would you marry him if he was not homeless? And I said, actually, I would marry him even if he was homeless, if he was my type, if he was a man of my life, if he was my twin flame, I would marry him. If he was my other half, I would recognize that. And I said, no, he's older than me. It doesn't matter. Age doesn't matter. He's a good looking man, but he's just not my twin flame. If he was, it wouldn't matter to me that he was homeless. And then I said, look, you know, do not compare someone's riches by what they have, but you know how rich their heart is. So when this man found the rock, and this is the rock that, and I actually showed this to a sacral chakra guy, that he found this rock, and it's actually a mineral. It's really good. It has a very nice energy. So he found this blue rock. My light is really bad here, so you cannot see how really nice it is. And I made it. I put it on a chain and love. It's actually healing my throat chakra. The blue stone is good for throat chakra. It's not healing. The creator of everything is healing, but it has very positive vibrations. So I showed him that, and he became quiet. I think I proved my point that, and I may have embarrassed him because he didn't bring me anything, but he didn't. I know, he didn't do that because, as I said, he doesn't want to make this into romantic, you know, deep relationship. He's afraid of that, and I don't blame. And I told him we don't have to have that. It's fine. It's perfectly fine to be in the moment. What's happening is happening, because it's very organic and natural what's happening. So we will not fight that, but we will also not push that. Okay, like people do, like have certain vision. Okay, we should be this. We should be a couple. We should be that. No, it's. I'm not manipulating situation in any way. So what's interesting is, as I mentioned, this homeless guy, he's no more homeless. He used to be. For years he was sleeping. It's amazing that how we became friends. He was passing by I met him many years ago. This homeless guy, he was by the McDonald's where I was dropping off Redbox movies, and he was praying. It was time for prayer, and he was praying on the sidewalk. And I knew he was Muslim, and I said salam alaikum to him, and we met, and I gave him a couple of bucks, which is not important right now, but it was meant to be that he passed by my house, which is completely in a different neighborhood from that McDonald's on the other side of the town. He passed by maybe a couple of months later and recognized him. I was like, oh, you were that guy at the McDonald's. And so, and then we became friends over the years. If he needed something, he was always proud, and not proud, but dignity. Like if he was not hungry, he would say, no, I ate shelter today, I'm fine, thank you. If you have he smoked, so he was saying, asking my parents if he could borrow one cigarette. That was all. He wouldn't ask it for anything else. But I found people who could help him with housing, so we took care of that, and he was very good, you know, to not. He never bothered us. He was always, just as just regular, just any friend that I have, and I consider him like that. So I felt bad that I couldn't help him to live in our house or something, but my father didn't, think it was a good idea because he had bad experience with people before. So, like a trust issues, not because he's homeless or something, but generally trust issues with, he doesn't even let us rent the rooms and stuff. Anyway, so this guy, he's been my friend for years, and now I haven't seen him ever in the mosque where I pray. I think I assume, never asked him, I know he's a Muslim, but I think he's not Sunni. I think he's a Shia, maybe, not 100% sure, but I've never seen him, and the mosque is really far away, and since he was homeless, he didn't have a car. He might have gone to the downtown mosque. And today, after all these years that I know him, I just mentioned him like a sacral chakra guy, and I mentioned this stone that he gave me a long time ago, and he shows up today at the Juma, at the prayer. After the prayer, he comes over and says salam to me. And why is amazing what he did today, the gesture that he did, is because Sacral Chakra guy, when we decided that we want to go on and be together at the time in August, back in August, when I told you about the whole deal, when I made the video about that, I what happens in Islam when we are not allowed to date, basically, and we are not. We are supposed to get married. So what we had was a sort of sacred ceremony, and for a time being, I told him, "Your watch. You will give me your watch. Um, this. You will give me your watch as a token, as a gift." And turns out there's a story about one of the prophet's wives, Zainab. They were not married in front of the witnesses and the priest, I mean imam, and they were alone before they actually made the ceremony. Invited guests. They did invite guests and people later, but when they got together, was different than any other marriages and any other commandments in the Quran and in the Sunnah, as the Prophet married other wives and or believers as we normally do under normal circumstances, under normal situations. We have witnesses and even the parents, or some people don't have parents, so it's not possible, but they do have what's called a wali, a witness. So under normal circumstances, it has to be done that way, and that's great, and it's supposed to be done in the mosque. Not always, people don't always do it at the mosque, but it's better. That's how I plan to do with the twin flame in the future. That's my, of course, that's my it's on my vision board, let's say. But anyway, Prophet Muhammad himself had this situation with the Zainab, that after Zainab got divorced from Ali, that they had to they were together. She said, "Is it going to be like this without witnesses, without Wali?" And he told her that the angel Gabriel was their Wali, that he was their Wali, their witness. And if you know the whole story, that the love of Muhammad for Zainab was in their attraction, and what he was denying himself in the first place as a human. He thought it was better if she was with Ali, his adopted. Um, Basically, he was a cousin, but he was adopted because he was an orphan. So he grew, and he found him a wife, Zainab. Right? They were not. He was not biological father to Ali. So this young man was supposed to have this woman as a wife, and she was a pious and good woman. So Prophet Muhammad thought that would be the best match. Even he, his intellectual mind thought that was the best match, but then his own heart was against that. His own heart fell in love with Zainab, but he denied his own heart for doing what's best for these two people and for community. But these two didn't work out. Just because love is not something we can invent or put in someone's heart, it comes from the source. We cannot make that happen. So she was meant to be with Muhammad, and they didn't work out, and they divorced. So when Muhammad got back, not back, but together with her, there was no Wali at their first get together. And he told her, because it was revealed in the Quran that he must be the one with her, and not only to prove, to show this example to other people, because that's what he was doing. All of his marriages, everything that he has done in his life was example for others. Same like Jesus, giving example to others, how to treat people, how to love people, how to do good. So this marriage happened without witnesses, but in Islam, you're supposed to give a gift of any value. It could be 1 cent, it could be $1 million. It doesn't matter. It's the woman who says what she wants. So, so the watch was the token of like a gift, and also it's allowed in Islam to return that gift. a woman can, if it's a money, she can say, let's go, let's spend this money together, let's go on vacation together, or I'm going to use this money to buy you now a car, maybe because you gave me this money. I don't want to have it just for myself. I want to, or she can keep it for herself. It's up to her. It's completely up to her what she wants to do with the gift. So I gave the gift back to Sacral Chakra guy. I said, this is, I don't need man's watch. I mean, it was just it was just symbolic for me, and I wanted to follow the guidance of the Quran, and so I did that. And under circumstances, I believe Allah has covered this with His angels. So today, the ex-homeless guy, also Muslim brother, older a little bit, he shows up at the mosque and out of blue, and he was asking me how I was doing, and he told me that he has an apartment now, that he's very grateful for that, and he came to pray, and that was a great surprise for me. And I told him how happy I was to see him. I introduced him to some of my other friends, converts, and some brothers who were there with their wives, and he all of a sudden he went to the car that someone gave him a ride, another friend. He says, I want you to have this watch. It's like same watch the Sacral Chakra guy has that I gave him back. I said, no, I don't really want to keep it. I just, you can have it back. Same watch, uh, the ex-homeless guy gave it to me. It is confirmation for me that everything, God knows everything. You can call him God, Allah, source, universe, knows exactly what's going on with you. It gives you comfort. It gives you confirmation. It gives you, if you're on the right path, if you follow your truth and you follow hard and you follow your right intentions, if your intentions are pure, I don't think you should worry that you will be punished for things that you've done that helped everyone and didn't make harm to anyone. If I look at my situation, there was no harm to anyone, and I've made it not lightly, but so much, and I've done so much contemplation of what should I do at certain situation. Then I don't see, Allah decides who will be punished for what, of course, but I don't regret any action that I took. I only regret things in my life that I didn't do. That maybe sometimes I should have said something to someone and I didn't. If I loved someone, I didn't let them know. If someone, I was holding grudge against someone and maybe they moved and I'd never saw them again, or they passed away or something. We didn't come clean. Those are the things that I regret in life. If I've done something out of ignorance that was actual sin, that was something really considered a great sin, in Islam, if I've done it in ignorance, then God says that He forgives and turns your bad deeds into good deeds. So I'm so grateful today that I got this beautiful watch, and believe it or not, from the guy he's still poor and he still lives um, in not super great, you know, conditions, but he has a place to stay, and that's great. It's winter outside; it's really cold, and also proved my point that I told the Sacral Chakra guy that someone has a huge heart, they will give you a gift. Because he could have said, keep the watch. Although I didn't need it, I insist that he can have it back. But he didn't insist for me to keep it because he's a little bit on the cheap side there, which is okay. I don't judge him. He comes probably from poor family in Afghanistan. It's just like, and when it comes to that, I have to share something that is also amazing. After he hung up, he told me he didn't know me. I realized why he would act strange over this whole time. Sometimes he said, those were his own words. He would say, he would call me and say, I'm sorry, I was weird today. He would be he was afraid of public appearance, and it's beyond regular fear or just, I'm sorry, my cat, hold on. Hi, come here. Dalton is wants to get in. Hi, come here. Are you guys okay? The little kitty and the big kitty want to get into the room. So anyway, are you okay? That's Selman. That's a little cat. You guys want to see him? Don't waste your time. So it's a really cute little kitten that just walked in. So what I was saying is that, oh, forgive me. It's okay, baby. Come here. Here. You want to go back to your room? He's just exploring around and making sounds. Come on, come here. So I totally lost track of my mind. Um, it's confirmation. Yes, Afghani. Let me get. So he would act weird. He was afraid of public appearance. It was beyond explanation. He didn't want to tell me why, what's going on with him, because when we were just friends, he was okay with. He would come and talk to me, and we would sit together. So I didn't know what was going on. What was the deal? Turns out, if you guys heard of brides, what's called mail order brides, turns out he came here as a fiance to someone who was already here. Three girls had decided to get boys from Afghanistan to get married, to bring them here. So he was one of the candidates, and he came here. But when he came here, he didn't like. There was no affection, and there was no attraction, and there was no liking between him and the girl. Same story like Zainab and Ali. No matter how hard we try, you cannot order people. You know, from your country. You cannot find online a match that is like a program that will match your characteristics or your skills or whatever and say that person is perfect for you. That's matchmaking that will lead you to perdition and will lead you to very unhappy life. So no, only matchmaker is the one who created souls. He knows what souls come from the same soul family, what souls are exactly were one soul and split up into twin flames, what souls are related or have a karmic connection. Only God knows, only Allah knows. So he came here, and I found this out 3 days after he hung up. I wasn't even looking for information. I went to visit my friend, and turns out Sacral Chakra's guy's brother just moved into that building, and she met them, and she heard the whole story that he's actually in hiding from the girl that brought him here because he didn't want to get married. And then that same time he met, just as he came, and decided that it wasn't for him, but he wanted to stay here. So he was kind of like, they had agreement he can stay on his own. Okay, so he's not gonna go with the marriage. And okay, they were not happy about that, but they okay, let him go, right? It's not a reason to report someone or deport someone. He came, changed his mind, didn't like it, thought he was gonna like the girl. He didn't. There's some other things around the whole story, like they lied to him about the girl's mental condition, whatever, and physical disability and stuff. So he was kind of tricked. He came here, but then he decided he's not going to go with that. And then at the like coincidentally, but not coincidentally, I'd say synchronicity was that he met me. It was meant to be. We had instant connection. Then you can imagine how this was very confusing for him, confusing times, because that's not what he planned. He didn't plan for that whole situation not to work out. He didn't plan to meet me. And now, actually, I used to shop there where he worked, and the sister of the girl that he was supposed to marry worked at the store. She found him a job there as a stalker, and then and then he moved on to register. So when I would visit, I noticed that he had this. We could call it in 3D. We can say crush on me, and then they would notice, changes on him and the way he talks to me. And so everybody, like, I guess, noticed that magnetism between us, and that we liked each other. So I've noticed these girls that work at the same place with him were kind of mean to me when I was shopping there, and I didn't know, because I don't know these people, like, I didn't know them. And then so everything is clear now, and he must be going through horrible, you know right now, especially. Why did he? I had a feeling someone was there while he was um, when he, because 2 hours before he said he wanted to see me and he missed me, and then he's like, I don't know, I think he's being pushed back into that. I hope he's okay. I simply cannot call him right now. It's not ego. It is ego, maybe, but it's not just ego thing. I am hurt, but I would go across my ego. It doesn't matter. But I think the situation requires for me to be patient and wait for him to work it out. Because if I push and if I call him, and he may think that I'm the one who is needy, when actually I would love to, I want to help. I don't want him to end up miserable for the rest of his life. Maybe I'm sure there's someone out there for him, for the whole marriage thing, or maybe he's supposed to be back with me for the next maybe a year or two, or time being, I don't know. But I know we definitely have a connection, and so, but I don't want to push him or scare him. He needs to figure out on his own what does he really want. He really misses me. It happened before. He will call me. He will find me. When people want to do something, they will find a way to do it. And to end today's story about Friday, my twin flame's mother was back again. It wasn't my imagination last time that she looked at me with love and appreciation and friendship. So my twin flame's mother today was again very friendly with me. We hugged, we talked. She said that her daughter, my twin flame sister, baby sister, she's in school. We didn't talk about my twin flame. I feel embarrassed, and I should ask you guys, should I ask her how is he doing? What do you guys think? Should I say, how's your son doing? I mean, that's kind of embarrassing. And in their culture, I would be okay to ask as a friend, as a acquaintance, how is he doing? How's your husband? How's your son? How's your daughter? But in their culture, it's considered rude for a girl to ask about a boy or a boy ask about a girl. So let me know, guys, what do you think? Should I ask next time if I see her? Because I want to know how she's doing. And besides our 5D connection, which is getting stronger, actually, again, um, in 3D, I have no clue what's going on. How's he doing or what he's doing? She shows up at the mosque, which she didn't before. And I'm sure that has to do. And she has another mosque really closer, way closer to her house. She makes effort to come to this one. I miss him so much, just to see. I mean, yes, it's in the physical form, but that's not a sin. I have to see him. I haven't seen him since that time when he talked to me and approached me. So I was like, because he does that, he goes into hiding. And today I was like, I really, really, I'm happy to see his mother. I'm grateful that she's there at least. But I miss him so badly, and I would love. I know before it happened in the past when I would tell his friends, it was rare of me, but I would. It was a couple of times when I asked his friends as a joke, I would say, how's he doing? How come he's not praying at the Jummah? And then as soon as they would give him the voice, the my question, they would relate to him and say, she said, why are you not praying at the Jummah? Why are you not visiting mosque for Friday? Next Friday he would show up. It was kind of a silent invitation from me that he would just need a push and he would show up. Sometimes he would be shy, but he was there, or he would not be shy. He would come talk to my mother or even me. But now I don't know if I should ask his mother, because I don't see most of his friends. There's other mosques open around downtown in this whole valley. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. And I think this is very amazing. And this shows that we're all connected. But okay, so this guy doesn't, he takes his watch back, but this other guy gives me the exact same watch. My twin flame channels through the sacral chakra guy, but sacral chakra guy can be sometimes himself and sometimes acts like my twin flame. So maybe I remind someone of someone they know that they miss or need to talk to, and I play that sort of like a substitute. Through my body comes substitute for what they need to hear or feel at the moment. We're all one. We are all connected. Um, Whether we come back through like new life we are born again, or our spirit comes through another person someplace else. Maybe my friend who lives in Europe, really, if she misses me today, and if I cannot be there with her, maybe another person is there, some other sister, some other girl who is right now playing that role for me. So yeah, we are all one basically, like those plankton in the sea. They form one body, and then they're kind of individual organisms, but then they form one huge organism. We really are all one. The bad ones, the good ones, all of us, the light and the darkness, and we have to realize and feel, not just maybe with our minds we can't even comprehend that, but we have to realize with our heart we're all one. It's like we accepted our family, like a kin, like a blood family that they belong to us. Then, like, brothers, sisters, siblings, mother, father. It's a unit. The whole world is really a family in a spiritual form, not just talking about physical, but we can also be in physical form. We can be family if we give each other hugs, if we give each other handshakes, if we give each other good time together and laughter, and give each other smiles. We are one family. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's true. That's true. So enjoy your weekend. Don't fret if nothing is going according to your plan. It's going according to God's plan, and everything will work out. Everything will be fine. All is well. All is well. We just don't see it. Our eyes don't see it much far. Some people can even see 100 feet away. We don't see far. We cannot especially see what comes tomorrow. So just wait it out and be patient, and not just sit patiently in some sort of, you know, uh, fear or something, or sadness, but try to do something. There's got to be something you can do to take your mind off of the things that bother you, and do something good. If you cannot, then help someone who is in the worse position than you are. Maybe by doing that, you will forget your troubles for a second and help them. And I got a new watch. I told him, no, 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 you maybe you can sell it or something. He didn't steal it or anything, God forbid. It's just, he wanted to give me it. They're really good friends. We're really, really good friends, and that's amazing that he came up with this watch, and I'm gonna cherish it and keep it. And I told him, and he was smiling. I said, I will give this to my husband, whoever, God decides that to be in the future. I hope, and pray for me, guys. I pray for you and send you love and blessings and peace and salam. And it's 42 minutes, so watch it in pieces or parts or whatever. Love you guys. Salam alaikum.